As we roll into December 2022, we're starting to see more and more house reports coming through showing that the house prices are falling. In this video, I want to show you what that means and the impact it's going to have on you. Hey, if you're watching my videos for the first time, my name is Saj Hussain, and on this channel, I share with you my 15 plus years of property investing experience to ultimately help you get further faster in your own property business. There are lots of housing market reports released throughout the year. Some are even more frequent, such as a quarterly or even a monthly basis. For example, Nationwide one, the Land Registry ones. However, one of the oldest and the longest running one is the Halifax one, which has data going back to January 1983 for the whole country. For example, one of the things that Halifax have been able to do is to be able to standardize the data they collect so they can do a like-for-like comparison over a period of time. So what they can do is look at, say, the prices in November 2022, see what they are, and see how they compare to November 21 and previous years as well. And that way they can put together a chart showing whether we've got an upward movement of prices, a downward, or a flat line within the market. Using their October data, which is the latest available, that's because at the end of the month it takes a little while before that data becomes available to us. At that point, we're showing that the house price had fallen during October minus 0.4%, and this was compared to September where we had a minus 0.1%. The October data was a decline of the third month over a period of 4 months, and November data is not yet available, but I'm quite sure that's also going to be a decline, probably a bigger decline that we've seen. What this is really showing us that the house price are now starting to fall faster than they have been over the last few months. Right now, house prices stand at a 5-month low at £292,598. This is the average price across the country. However, what we do need to remember is over a period of the last 12 months, we've also had a £22,000 increase in the value of property as well. So on a graph, what this means is the house price of the last year have been going up like this, but now they're just starting to turn and they've hit that flat line and now starting to fall. So we're just at that curve peak, and the big question is, how much are they going to fall by? House prices will typically go up over time, just like many other items as well. This is known as property inflation. Now, when we look at the last year, what's happened to property inflation, we're starting to see that shrink, i.e. the growth averaged out is now a lot less than what it used to be. So in September, we're running at 10.3%, and now in October, we're at 8.9%. So we can start to see a shrink in the amount of growth over a period of time that's happening in house prices. Again, another indication that the price is starting to fall. When we drill down into this data even further and look at the first-time buyer sector, we can see even bigger falls in the house prices. So for example, in September, the property inflation was running at 10.1%, and by October, it's 7.5%. So quite a big drop that's happened there. So again, we can start seeing the prices falling. And when we look even further in regional areas, for example, in the West Midlands, which is one of the regions which had the highest increase in house prices, we can start seeing where the inflation figures are now starting to change from 13.2% to more recently dropping to 11.7%. So essentially what this means is, although we've had a big spike in house prices over the last year or so, we can now see we've reached that peak and we're starting to turn the other way and the price is now starting to fall. But the pace of this fall is going to be important. The next 2 or 3 months are going to be absolutely key in terms of what happens to the property market, because if those house prices continue to fall, as they traditionally tend to do around December anyway, because the market slows down and there's not much activity going on, and what that can do is start creating a slowdown in the market, which becomes self-fulfilling because people believe the house price is slowing down, the market is slowing down, less people are buying, people are putting in lower offers, and be more cheekier when they're putting those offers in on that house. So what are the key factors at play here? We've got the cost of living crisis, we've got increasing in energy costs, we've got inflation spiraling out of control, and we've also got high mortgage costs happening right now as well. These things generally tend to be more disproportionately affecting those that are lower income. So for example, the amount of money that they need to spend toward just keeping their head afloat and just being able to survive is much more in terms of their percentage of income going towards these key essentials. They're often also the group that has the least amount of savings, so that means they don't have those available to dip into to be able to survive during more challenging times. With the recent announcement of the government scaling back of the energy price guarantee now to only till 6 months, there's also concern about what's going to happen when we get to that 6-month point. But one thing that there is certain is, even with this intervention from the government and the support that's available, most people are probably going to be paying 80% more for their energy than they were a couple of years ago. First-time buyers would typically allocate about 34% of their take-home pay towards their mortgage payments. Now this is rising to about 45%, so quite a significant increase. When we look at this as a typical scenario where a first-time buyer is maybe putting down a 20% deposit, they've got a mortgage rate of say 5.5%, and 45% of their take-home pay has been going towards paying the mortgage, this is very similar to what it was before we had the major financial crash back in 2007, 2008. First-time buyers are a key component of the property market. They're often the people buying the entry-level properties, and those people are already in those entry-level properties that they're buying them from. They'll be moving up the ladder, maybe into a smaller house from a flat, and maybe from a smaller house to a larger house, and everybody on the chain moves up a step, and then people at the top will generally be retiring or maybe downsizing, and that's generally how the property market works. But when there's a slowdown in the number of people buying the entry-level properties, then everything in the market starts to slow down, because there's nothing at the entry level coming in for everybody else to be able to move up. What this essentially means is when there's a slowdown in the uptake from first-time buyers to get onto the property ladder, we can be sure that the house price is going to start to fall. What this data is now showing us is that the slowdown in the market is actually happening, whereas a few months ago it was theoretical, it sounded like it's probably going to happen. Now we've got the evidence that the market is slowing down. Even if you're out there looking at property, you're speaking to estate agents, you'll start to see there's much more fewer people going out there looking for property, so there's less competition, and ultimately it affects that supply and demand dynamic, which means that there's fewer people looking and there's more stock available in the marketplace, so the house prices simply start to fall. During the time that I've been involved in property, I've seen the market rise quite quickly and fall a number of times, but one of the key learnings from that has come is some of the best opportunities that exist during that time when the market is starting to slow down is where you can control property rather than purchasing it, because what we don't want to do is catch a falling knife. When the prices are plummeting, you're grabbing onto something and the prices continue to fall. Although you can turn that good, you can make that into a deal, the best opportunities are where you're controlling property so you can take advantage of it as the market starts to change. Hey, look, if you've enjoyed this video, then do me a favor, make sure you click on my face over here to subscribe to the channel, and that way you get notified when we're releasing videos just like this. But also after that, make sure you click on this video over here, which explains exactly how you can benefit from controlling property. So go ahead, click on this video over here, and I'll see you there.